Time to call the Morehaven City Council regular meeting for October the 3rd, 2023 to order at
7:25.
7:25 at the City Hall. Roll call. Jake.
Present.
Alicia.
Here.
Mark.
Here.
Jan.
Here.
Myself is here. Ashley.
Here.
Steve.
Here.
And Larry. And we've got 1, 2, 3 people in the audience. Okay. I'd like to do the invocation myself. And Alicia, if you could do the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd appreciate it. Heavenly Father, please watch over us tonight. Help us make the right decisions and guide us in everything in your will. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Item number 3, reorganization of the board. Steve?
All right, floor is open for nomination for the position of mayor for the fiscal year 23-24. How any nominations?
Nominate Clay.
There's been a motion, there's been a second, any other nominations? All right, hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? There you go.
Thank you, everyone. And Vice Mayor? Nominations for Vice Mayor.
Nominate Jake.
Motion by Mark for Jake,
Second.
second by Alicia. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay.
Probably should have reorganized capital when we had it. I forgot, honestly, but we could do that at the next meeting. So we'll just do a quick special meeting for CAPFA and the other entities.
Item number 4, additions, deletions, and corrections to the agenda.
Yes, I have one under in front of you. There is a agenda item for award to Toter for purchase of the 96-gallon garbage cans. I'd like to add that to the agenda.
Now with the 96
For A.
gallons, we would have to have the, we're gonna have the list, but we've already got bids on the list, right?
We got some quotes on the, it's gonna take some time to get these garbage cans in. But like I said, what we're trying to do now is get in line, get them ordered, get in line to get delivered and things. We can, actually, once, if we get them, we can go ahead and put them out there before we get necessarily get the garbage trucks to get them out there. But like I said, there is some lead time, so we're trying to get them ordered.
Does this company pass them out, Larry, or we have to pass them out?
We pass them out.
We pass them
Yeah, they're gonna deliver them to the warehouse. They're gonna have serial numbers on that kind of thing, so we will issue them.
But you're not issuing until we get the lift on the truck and all that, right? Because the guys can't lift those 96 gallon.
Yeah, well,
Oh, okay.
so we're going.
So we have a place to store all of them until we get the lift on the truck
They'll create a place up there, I guess.
where they won't get stolen?
Are we gonna pay through it to the city or through CAPFA?
It's just trying to get it on the agenda right now so we can get down.
It's in the 23-24 budget from CAFA for the purchase of
Oh, that's right.
those garbage
out.
cans.
You want to wait till later to talk about it, Jake?
Well, he's gonna gotta add it to the agenda before we can start the discussion.
All right. Thought he did that.
Nah, that's what I thought too.
No,
I'm
you
sorry.
mean the CAPFA agenda?
No.
No, he's right. We just added it. We
No,
didn't-
no. Oh, yeah, yeah,
We didn't add.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Jake's
We're
right.
ahead of you.
Yeah. All right.
We got way ahead of ourselves.
Yep. So
So added
Asking
the-
for-
you want to make that 4A,
6 days. would it be?
No, not 6A.
7A.
7A?
7A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All in favor of adding Toter to the agenda for
You
7A?
don't want to do 7A. You're looking at the first one.
That's
You remember I gave you a new one?
Oh, 8A, sorry.
8A.
All right. I'm sorry. Making it 8A.
Do we need a motion for that?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to add it to 8A.
Second.
Motion by Jan, second by Alicia to add Toter to the agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. So any other discussions or deletions to the agenda? All right. Sorry about that, Jake. You're right.
You're good.
I
We
just,
got way ahead of
Yeah.
ourselves on that one.
Well, I was just making sure it
We ran
needed
with
to be
that.
on the city.
No, we haven't.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Discuss and, item number 5, discuss and or approve the. No, I'm looking right here. It said Adam.
Oh,
You didn't look at the new one I sent you,
Oh,
and I put it right in front of you.
no, that's the one that's on the computer.
Remember, he had me do it for the reorganization. I've made a copy of it for you.
no, it's fine. You're right. It's fine. I was looking.
Yeah, discuss and or approve the following meeting minutes.
Okay.
Item number 5.
Yeah.
September
Ah, Jesus.
5th, 2023 budget workshop
yeah.
meeting minutes.
This is the new
Motion to
agenda.
approve
Yeah.
September 5.
Motion by Jake, seconded by Mark to approve September 5. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. September 7th, 2023 tentative budget hearing meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mark,
Second.
second by Jen. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. September 18th, final budget hearing, meeting minutes.
Motion to approve September 18th budget hearing meeting minutes.
Motion by Jake to approve September 18th, 2023 final budget hearing.
Second.
Second by Mark. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. September 19th, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Jen to approve the September 19th, 2023 regular meeting minutes, seconded by Alicia. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, discussion of GCDC and GSO billing rate adjustment. Mr. Tibbs, this is your,
Previously, earlier in the year, the city council approved dropping the ERCs for GCDC from 270 down to 30. And that, and as you look at the bill, that had a big impact, but that adjustment period was just from March 1st through September 30th. So now we are at September 30th. So since that period has expired, does the council want to go back to the predetermined level of ERC at 270? It makes a huge difference in the base charge. The 270 ERC, water ERCs at 3204 is 8651 a month. And like I said, so we dropped down to 30 ERCs. So that was, like I said, it was a huge reduction, but like I said, it's not supposed to go past September 30th. I guess what the direction from the council is to go back to the original amount that was in the agreement or whatever, you know,
Have you,
alternatives.
have they reached out to you with any type of proposal or to find out where we're at?
They have not.
Have they asked for a bill to average it out themselves like they suggested?
They haven't asked anything. We haven't heard from them since those meetings.
Well, then ain't nothing we can do. Go back to the
Go back to
original
the-
agreement, and then when they come back to us,
The census of the board, Mr. Tibbs, is to revert back. before you
because
change
that was the
ERCs.
agreement. Wasn't that the agreement we made in the
Yeah,
joint commission?
That was through September 30th. There was a similar agreement on the CCPWA side for sewer, but it's a little different amounts,
Right.
which we'll obviously
Oh, yeah.
have to discuss at the upcoming
CCTV.
CCPA meeting.
Yeah.
But on the
But it
water
was the
side,
same agreement, yeah.
the motion that was passed was March 1st to September 30th. So with October billing, we should going back to the original ERCs that was established by an agreement between GCDC. Now, the other option would be when we notify them, they may come back and, I'm not gonna say exactly what they may do, but I don't know, quite sure what GCDC is gonna do right now. There's talk that maybe they have a potential buyer or whatever, but if they want to be evaluated on a different number of inmates, then they're gonna have to come back and we'll have to get someone like Craig Smith to go in and to review the rates and determine what could be. But at this point in time, with no change in, all the council ever committed to do was to get that adjustment to September 30th.
I think, I mean, if the agreement's done, it's done.
So with sincere desire to approve the letter here tonight, we'll go ahead and draft a letter back to, going back to the.
How's it working with regards to the use of the facility there? You know, what was represented to the city, like, well, we're just gonna use it for administrative and there's gonna be minimal.
The actual consumption did drop down, right, Ashley? The actual consumption part of it did drop down.
Mhm.
Yes, quite a bit, so.
Based on this right here, I mean, it's pretty good chunk.
Yes.
Well, you're gonna see a big chunk because the base rate dropped as well. We'd have to go off of, I'd have to pull all the meter readings and stuff and print that out for you if you wanted to see that. But I thought we wanted to see like a revenue
They did.
drop.
That's what we.
But it's, like you said, there's two rates. One, the ERCs was the big one because that was $86.51 a month for those 270 ERCs. They went down to 30, so that was a huge drop. But the actual consumption did drop down because they have less use there. But that's controlled through the consumption. It's going to go up or down based on what they use.
Right.
This other, the ERCs is basically
It's like flat rate.
it's a flat rate. It's based on maximum usage of the facility, which going back to that day was 428 inmates that generated those 270 ERCs. So if they want, to me, I guess in my mind, if they want to reevaluate, they need to come back to us, to you with a plan of what they're going to do with the
Of
facility.
course they do, because they knew the agreement just like we did.
Do we pick up anything on the new, well, I'll say the old jail usage?
Yes, we did pick up, because we're picking up some, usage there and basically a meter charge, but it doesn't near make up for the difference that
Right.
we lost. in the-
Now, just for my own, clarify in my own brain, which ain't very big, GCC is just out at 78. This uptown is the sheriff's department.
Mhm.
And the sheriff, again, made an agreement with GCDC to put their admin staff in that facility until they find other place to put them.
But the circle runs back to the county anyway, in terms of
Yeah, I
bottom
mean,
line.
we can't do anything without them coming back to us, so we might as well just,
I could try to call, try to call,
The man,
county,
Mr. Fisher.
yeah, June, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I had a couple other things to call her about. Maybe I could try to give her a call to tell her, because I don't know how aware or not aware she is of, have you had any discussions with her about this? Because this all happened before her time, so.
Yes, no, I hadn't specifically, but she does know that the CCPWA is coming up. So she's aware that, from that aspect, that it's gonna come up at this next meeting that.
is she aware that the sewer and water were two different things though?
Yes,
Okay.
she's aware.
So we'll revert back. That's the census of the board on Mr. Fisher's
Can I get a-
recommendation.
We're gonna, do we need a motion?
Well,
Is that
but
just where we're gonna
it
go with it?
automatically expired as of
I don't
September
think-
30th, so in my opinion, no, because the rates revert to the original
Right.
amounts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then if they come back and apply, and you guys decide to, again, give a temporary relief,
Then we have
make it
to-
retroactive to October 1st, then you do.
And that was part of the discussion too, was that if they wanted to come back, I mean, you can clearly see that it went from, upwards of $15,000 down to $2,000. So if they want to come back, this is why Ashley made this piece of paper where
Yeah.
we know what type of hit we're taking now.
I mean, look at your August of 20, or I'm sorry, your September of 22.
Which is August usage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Your total, and then look at your August usage of 23. That's a $13,000 difference.
And now we know where we're at. So-
Yeah.
And they do too. So, I mean, I'd be willing to entertain, give them another break again, but not just, I wouldn't think that we'd want to do it this low.
We may entertain a party, but we ain't having a big bash.
But they need to officially come back and
Right.
tell us what is their inmate population going to be. And so we can have someone like, Craig Smith go in and evaluate how many ERC, because that's reservation of water, basically. We need the ERCs to make sure that we have enough water to supply
Right.
that facility, so you need to know what the maximum usage would be.
Well, let me ask you this. If we say they were to sell, GCDC were to sell, and they were able to put 400, then would we revert back again? I'm sure we would, yeah.
At this point in time, we're reverting back to the 270 ERCs, which is based on 400 some inmates.
Right.
I would think,
That's what's in the agreement.
Right.
but I would think that any prospective buyer is going to want to do their due diligence, and part of that should be coming to us to
Yeah.
try to enter into a new developer agreement. I would
Yeah.
think.
Especially if they're gonna have 400 or 500 inmates out
Yeah.
there, they would definitely wanna do their due
Yeah.
diligence.
Because we'd want to know the same thing, and
Mhm.
I would think that would be part of what
Cause they're gonna try to have their cost as low as possible, so they'll wanna come talk to us and make some kind of agreement.
I had run into when I was at the city attorney seminar in May, I had briefly talked to their attorney about this, and maybe I'll try to give him a call as well to see where they are in the scheme of things with the prospective purchaser. So
Okay. Any further discussion there?
No, sir.
Item number 7, report of officer, city manager, Mr. Tibbs.
Yeah. Like I said, Brad is not here tonight. He's out. Just an update, Taylor Electric's supposed to be here tomorrow to put the electric on the dock. We also had the folks come in, to fix the water park tomorrow. To finally get that done over there. The grapple truck is, I think is due back. We're supposed to get it on noon Thursday. It's been over in Fort Myers getting worked on. We've gotten some restrooms over here, the work that needs to be done, so we're negotiating with them a little bit on which what they're going to charge us, but several things to be done in there. One is put the water flush valves in. We got you look at the floor again and also do some other reconstructive work in there.
Electrical work.
A little bit of electrical work in there too, so. But like I said, we have one quote, we're trying to negotiate that down a little bit, but so hopefully we'll get that moving this week. That was the kind of things he was,
Are we keeping it locked now?
yes,
Okay.
it's locked and combinations have been changed and everything else.
Well, I've already expressed my displeasure on that, and that was pitiful. Okay.
That's I have this, anybody has anything to read?
I guess there's some garbage trash pickup we're not being able to make because the grapple truck is down.
Yeah.
I found a few places today that needed to be, and I understand it's grapple issues, but
How long is it supposed to be down?
you said Thursday.
They're not supposed to pick it up on noon on Thursday.
I'd like you to get that storm drain cleaned by the courthouse too, Larry.
Sorry, Larry, I didn't hear Thursday.
Anybody got anything else for Larry?
Appreciate them guys getting the water on over on First Street, Palm Avenue today. Yeah, mess.
Can I ask a question to Larry?
Yeah, just let's wait till public comment, Jerry.
Okay.
Does anybody else got anything for
Mm-mm.
Larry? All right, thank you, Larry. Steve,
So Thursday is the scheduled foreclosure sale on the Collier property at 11 a.m.
What
Some-
time?
Is somebody gonna attend that? And if so, who and
I'll be there.
okay, so what I'll do tomorrow is send Ashley a couple documents that'll need to go over to the clerk along with the check for $70. I'm not sure what the doc stamps will end up being, but we have to pay a clerk's fee, but I'll get you all that information tomorrow with a copy of the final judgment so you know what the,
This will be the fourth one that I've gone to.
so you're a pro. So you know what to do. But your initial bid would be $100
Yeah.
because the dog, because we don't want to,
Yeah.
run up.
That's
That's all I have. Well, the follow-up code enforcement hearing that we were supposed to have regarding the Adams property was obviously postponed because of the accident that took place. I don't know their status, so I was not trying to be insensitive to what happened to them, but I'll probably try to get a court date for maybe next month, or I'll see what the judge's office has available and try to keep that on.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I have. Oh, did we find out if code enforcement side, do we know McColleen on the
For Avenue C.
the junkyard?
Yeah, she said she sent it over to you. She sent it to them.
Okay.
Mhm.
Has anything been done, or can we follow up?
No.
Okay. Oh, with her tomorrow. We'll probably need to set a court date on that.
Yes.
So I know there's a public records request about the whole comp plan rezoning. So we would treat that like any other public records request and just provide the information to them. If you don't have, I want to coordinate to make sure Mr. LaRue, I think you should have everything that Mr. LaRue had done in preparation for
I need the application.
his part of it,
Copy
but yeah, we can talk about that tomorrow.
Okay.
No, the residents are still complaining about it that live in that neighborhood.
yes.
Right.
I know they are.
Yeah, and independently, it's being used as a junkyard, so just get a hearing with the judge and go from there. So,
Doesn't that expire? I mean, we made a decision, isn't there like a 30 days that he has to appeal it?
yeah, there's typically you would file what's called a petition for certiorari, it's just fancy word for you're filing a lawsuit challenging what it took place. I don't know the date of I don't recall the date of the ordinance. The final, I think it's been 30 days, hasn't it?
In 2 more days.
Okay, so typically you would have 30 days.
No, can he do that because he doesn't own?
I would challenge his standing on that because it would typically be the landowner that's affected and not the tenant. We'll just wait and see if we get anything by the end of the week, and if so, I'll just react accordingly. So yes, that would potentially be an issue.
Okay. All right. Anybody got anything for Steve?
No, just keep following up on that code enforcement stuff.
Yeah,
first, please.
yeah.
Okay. Alicia, Mark, y'all good? Jen? Okay, city clerk.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Craig A. Smith, not here. CAS Governmental Service, not here. And F, Public Works Director, Brad's out tonight. Okay, item number 8.
Eight.
7A.
8 and 8A.
8A would be the garbage cans. Tater.
We do 8 first.
Yeah, do
Regular
8
8.
first.
All right. Number 8 would be the approval of the bills in the amount of $23,055.27.
Motion to approve the bills.
Motion by Jake to approve the bills, second by Alicia. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now 8A.
All right, you may pay the bills this month.
Okay.
All right, 8A. Mr. Tibbs.
In the 23-24 budget, garbage fund budget, you did approve the purchase of 1,050 96-gallon trash carts. That money was approved to come from CAFA. This request is to award the purchase order to Toter LLC. And actually, the suggested motion is to request approval for purchase of 1,050 96-gallon EVR2 universal / nestable carts in the amount of $63,682.76 from Toter LLC under piggyback of Sourcewell Cooperative Contract Number 041521. Like I said, that will be for the, going to purchase the trash cart.
Okay.
Motion for approval for the purposes.
Motion by Jake for the approval,
Second.
second by Jan to award, hold on, award to Toter LLC the purchase of 96-gallon EFR2 universal nestable carts. Any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead, DeMark.
Joe Smith loses his cart, whether the wind blew it away
Or somebody stole
or
it.
somebody stole it. How's he get a new cart?
I think what we planned it, when we get the initial cart, then we would
I know you said they had a serial number,
essentially give everybody a cart, and if they wanted a second cart, they would have to come in and purchase a second cart.
so they're gonna pay for it at the city hall.
So, but are you gonna, 'cause I mean, if somebody steals it, that
That's
really
another
shouldn't be all on the homeowner to replace it, but at the same time, it's not all on us either, so.
Well, suppose he walks down the street and has his serial number and his neighbor's got his serial number cart.
Then
Yeah.
you get all the works and we'll go out and grab the cart.
Retrieve it.
Retrieve the cart.
Okay.
I mean, I know other counties do that, but
Right.
maybe we can call them and
I
see
mean,
what kind
the
of,
individual could probably do it themselves, but it maybe feel safer to call someone else to come out.
Sheriff's
That's probably better than someone our guy.
maybe we can call a different county that has those same kind of carts and see what kind
See.
of policy they have, maybe.
Well, I know where and we have these cards, and like I said, that's essentially, they've furnished the first one. Anything else after that, you're on your own. It doesn't matter if you want a second card or if you want if one breaks, they'll come out. You have to set it out there and they'll come out and replace it if it's broken. But they won't replace it,
And then you're gonna have everybody sign for it?
Yes.
So then you need to put on there, on that same piece of paper, that if they're responsible for the replacement of,
Your
Okay.
serial number and.
Yeah.
just so everybody's
Is it the
aware.
property owner responsible for it or if it's a
At least.
lease
The customer.
customer? Okay.
So it's the person whose name's on the lights. Basically.
So
Okay, so-
technically, with
So-
that being said, we would, if they vacate the property, we would have to pick the cart back up, have the new person moving in re-sign the paperwork, redeliver the cart.
Yes. Okay, just as long as you have all that on a policy that people, and people aren't, oh, I didn't know I had to pay for the next cart. It's
And that might be
$100.
something, Jim, we need to discuss, or
Yeah,
Larry, you need to think about, is writing up a policy.
We talked
For that.
about it a little bit at the last meeting when
Yeah.
he was gone, about redoing our, because our garbage can rules are gonna completely change there,
Yes.
you know, and,
It's something we need to
it
definitely,
just kind of keeps going back. I mean, there are rules with these garbage cans that if we're picking your garbage, the lid has to be closed. And if we're continuously coming to your house every week to pick the garbage up and the lids are open, then you need to come up here and clean another garbage can or pay the deposit to get another garbage can. And he has been making notes and he's gonna, from what I've talked to him about it, throwing stuff out, and it kind of goes back into what I was gonna talk about with the grab truck also. But the sanitation, as you can see when that grab truck's down,
goes down.
you see what we're talking about. So garbage is one of our biggest issues right here. So before we start handing out the cans, we will definitely have the grabbers on the truck. But before we start handing out the cans, we need to listen to his rules and regulations with his help of the proper way to do it.
And that's what
I'd
I
be
was
willing to
saying.
bet when this happens, the amount of garbage that we carry to the station the tonnage will go down immensely.
That's part of it. That's why they want the lid down, because if you
You're
drive
getting
through town,
everything wet.
you're getting everything wet. That cardboard absorbs it, and then it
Right.
keeps going. And you may not recognize it, in the first couple of billing cycles, but as you get on to people, get them into that.
Yeah.
There's another case, you may want to put something in there, like about somebody that puts out, and I know there's lots of them in town, cardboard boxes alongside their garbage cans.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Sure, we pick up all the cans are emptied out, but down every block, you've got 2 homes with cardboard boxes sitting there.
And
So now we gotta run her up or
And
what?
I wanted to touch on that too, because I'm 100% behind all the food pantries that are shut out all over town. I mean, I know of 3 of them. But when we go to empty the trash at a food pantry, all the boxes are just right there in a group, and we're having to throw them in. They should be responsible in these new rules, even at the restaurants and the gas stations, to break their boxes down and put them in that
Yes.
dumpster. And a lot of the stores, I would think, do it because it gives them more space in there. But it goes with, as far as the garbage can rules is, like I talked about before, setting this construction debris and things of that nature next to the road and relying on the city of Moorhaven to pick it up. Well, that's one reason why our truck's sitting over in Fort Myers right now, because we've been picking up stuff that other cities require you to get a construction dumpster for. Stuff like that, when we redo these garbage rules, I think they need to be in there.
That needs to be addressed, yeah.
And I'm gonna use the apartments on Avenue R as an example in front of Mr. Decker's house. And it's not just those apartments, but it's throughout.
I pass them every day.
Somebody moves out of there, they set a house next to the road. And now we don't have any way of recouping that money from them. We had talked about, and Steve, you were in on this conversation about the apartment owners, when the renter moves out and sets all his apartment next to the road, that we need to go to the landlord, because the renter's already gone. We're not recouping
We're not getting that
anything.
money.
So if that's something that we need to look at as far as,
That's why they get deposits from the renters.
well, and that's what should
Exactly.
that's what I'm saying. They're getting their money when that guy moves out. So if there's some way from the landlord to go ahead and give us a
To
chunk of
recoup our money.
to recoup our money, because we've been doing it over and over and over, and it's every set of apartments, it's every little house that's remodeled. Yeah, we want to get behind them and help them as much as we can remodeling the house, but we dang sure don't need to go over there picking up shingles and 5-gallon buckets of plaster.
And I know 2 houses right now,
Yes, yes,
Garbage
for
is
sure,
our
maybe
biggest-
3.
Garbage is our biggest thorn in our side.
And to get off of my stump right here, I think when these garbage cans are delivered, all this construction debris, this ditch debris, it all needs to be clarified in these rules to
Yes,
start over fresh,
totally
brand
agree.
new.
And every person on a light bill needs to sign it so they understand it, so they can't come back and
And-
say,
You touched on this
didn't know.
before.
Yeah, because like with my neighborhood, we have recycling. So we have the brown can for garbage. We have big blue, same thing for recycle. And then we do our yard debris separately. But yeah, I can see where because we don't have recycling out here, and so you've got that cross. And if you don't break down the boxes, it's difficult for them to pick it up.
There
But
used to be
I
a
have
way-
gone to the trailer that's up there, and you can't get another box in there. They've got it so packed full of stuff. So people are using it.
Use it.
And these
But
aren't
they're
things that we're asking the residents to do
No.
that no other community now. But Jerry, you empty the garbage dumpsters. I mean, I don't. Is there something that sticks out that in a quick short sentence that we need to address with the sanitation that I'm missing or that we're missing as a group? I mean, do the restaurants break their boxes in like the pizza store or not? Do they break them?
Yeah, their
Yeah,
stuff
that's-
is pretty much bagged up and busted down. It's the homeowners that
they don't give a crap.
Well, it's not that they don't give a crap, I think it's just that they're spoiled.
That's the way they've been doing it.
Yeah,
And they've been
It's gonna
doing
be
it
hard
this
to
way
break them.
forever,
That's
and
what I was
everybody's
looking
been taking
for.
care of them, so no problem.
You're exactly right.
You know, and one thing, tell me, and I might be wrong about this, just an observation. The dump closes at 12 on Saturday.
Yep.
So if you got guys that, you know, they get up at 8 o'clock and they start trimming trees and all that, by the time they get done, the dump's already closed. Therein lies a problem. Now, that's not our problem. We
Right.
can't tell the dump to stay open. But at the same time, I mean,
It's
it's
open 6 days a week, basically, you know. That's
5.5.
5.5. And,
Yeah.
and there's a construction dump right here, right outside of town for some of this other.
Are they
stuff.
open on? They're not open on.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But that was one of the things I had on my list to help
Yeah.
answer some of your questions of how this process was going to go. And I have been bouncing it off of him and other people in the garbage.
Two more questions I have is.
Go ahead, Mark.
What about? It's okay for you?
Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the churches?
Well,
Our church has like 3 or 4 cans now.
Yeah.
Are we gonna sell them? Are we gonna make the church pay for an extra can or, you know, when them ladies start picking up,
it's,
they hit a lot of garbage.
Yeah, but what size are your 3 cans?
They're almost as big as the ones we're gonna buy, but not as big.
They're almost
Almost.
96 gallons?
Yeah, it's a pretty good sized cans. You've seen them. Jim.
yeah, they're pretty good size.
But
I'm
They're not as big.
And I have put some thought process into that also because one of my things when we first started was the church lady that lives by herself. She doesn't need a 96-gallon garbage can because she's walking out there once a week. Well, now she might just have to walk out there once, you know, every 2 weeks to
Right.
take this out there. And I think that this 96-gallon can will replace, you know, at least a can and a half at the church.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I didn't
If
think,
not
I still
two.
think
If
there's
not
a
two.
big
it'll be close, you know.
But
like I said,
sometimes we
yeah.
have 4. I know
Yeah,
they do, and
yeah.
I don't know any other
Right.
churches around what they put out.
But Mark, if you'd eat more down on the grounds, I have to throw so much away.
Always have something to say.
I know.
Go ahead.
I'm with you.
Yeah, but yeah.
That is something that.
All right, Mark, you got one more?
That's a good, that is something, man.
It wasn't a commercial business
Right.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe,
I
maybe
mean-
we need to think about commercial businesses. Maybe they need more than one.
And a lot of them do have their own dumpsters, but they have the dumpsters, but even that, now, I'm gonna tell you that, for example, you think you're going into the school to empty the dumpster. You're not.
You're not.
You're
No.
getting out of the truck. You're undoing the lock. You're going in there. You're getting back in the truck. You're going through the gate. You're getting out of the truck. You're closing the gate. You're driving back up to the dumpster. You're getting out of the truck. You're hooking up the cable. You're getting back in the truck. I can empty a whole block of garbage cans by the time I went in there. And that's when maybe it's time to go up on those dumpster rates because, I mean, he's unlocking a gate at Joey's
A lock
Pizza
fee.
or whatever it is, wherever it is. And
Lock
even
fee.
the dollar stores are supposed to have the gates on, but they've been blown down or tore off from storms. So the garbage, Mr. Tibbs and Mr. Ramuni, on my behalf, I really want you to get, this is going to be something new to residents. Some people don't like brand new. They don't like change. So we've got to have the bells and the kinks whistle worked out of this, or the phones are going to ring off the hook.
No, that's what I'm thinking too.
For
That's
those-
why I'm saying that we have to make sure everybody is aware because it's gonna be a whole problem.
Well, first time you go down the road when these are out, and I wanted to say that I've already told you that garbage coming from the school is coming from around the county too. I
Yes.
witnessed it in the morning walking. I told you guys that. But the other thing is that the first week when you run this truck down the street, there's gonna be a can at this guy's house, but he's also gonna have a bag on either side of it. So we're gonna have that problem also.
And that's where we've just got to stick to our guns. And if it's in that bag, when he comes home, it's going to be sitting there. We're only emptying what's in the garbage
And
can.
then-
Because there's, like you said, they're spoiled. Like Jerry, they're spoiled
He's
now.
he's
So if
absolutely
it's
right.
not in that can, we're going to walk away from it.
I will say, like, when I take my garbage out, if I have extra garbage, I just put it next to the can because we only have the one can and they pick it up. But we could tweak it to whatever way.
Well, and there's also a deal there that if you've got, I'm going to tell you your name if you don't mind. Jake Eigner, for 12 months out of the year, Jake Agner's been, every time he's dead on the money, and all of a sudden he's put an extra bag.
Right.
Come on now,
Yeah,
we
there's
can pick up.
there's some
But at
common
the
sense
same
into
time,
it.
if you only have one person on the truck, they don't have time to get out for the 15 people
That's
that have
right.
never done it before and they're doing it today to pick it up. So if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it all the way across the board and not pick it up.
Yes.
Because now tomorrow, Jake Agner's gonna say, well, you picked it up last week, why don't you pick it up this week?
Okay.
So you do, you don't do it, you don't do it ever.
It definitely would be, I would say definitely like during, your Christmas and Thanksgiving, probably some possible exceptions on something like that.
They do have two guys on the truck I've seen because,
Yeah, that's.
you know,
We also
I'm
have
just
two
saying,
But-
the days that there's only one because somebody got food poisoning or something.
It's just gonna take some.
Yeah.
Motion's on, I believe it passed, Larry can purchase.
No, it wasn't a motion, we're
we
just
had a vote.
discussing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I don't.
No, there is a
Y'all did
motion,
vote.
yes.
I made the motion.
Yes, there is a motion. That's right, I'm sorry.
And we,
All right,
and we passed for discussion.
yep, okay.
All in favor?
Y'all just
All right, is everybody all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
number 9.
And number 9, citizen comments, general concerns, speakers are limited to 3 minutes. No one? Oh, go ahead, Mr. Doug.
I can't resist this one. In regards to the trash, I concur with Mr. Ramoni. When we were stationed in San Diego, you had days for electronics, hazardous waste, trash, and newspaper. And if it wasn't bundled up in a certain size, they wouldn't touch it. You got a ticket. Merry Christmas. That'll get their attention. I hate to tell you that, but that's what you're gonna have to do. All this good old, oh, we'll take care of it. No, no, no. You put it right in there, have Mr. Tibbs get that in there, guess what? All that stuff goes away. It removes all questionable doubts.
And sometimes I'm surprised they take what I put out because like on the yard debris and I try to do it in the cans, but you know,
Right.
everybody.
Even, the trees, if you trim your brush, you gotta have it 3 foot by this much
I
diameter.
know, some cities do, you gotta have the trees trimmed like in 3-foot sections and they have to be bundled
Bundled,
together. and-
yeah.
And bundled,
The garbage
so-
company I worked at,
It's
it
just something
was
else
very
to-
strict rules like that.
to think about because it,
Yeah, I wanted to see if we could maybe look at a couple of different examples of how they would.
And like the,
Because honestly, I haven't read.
Collier.
I just, signed up, when I bought the house.
Uh-huh.
Here's what we do. Okay.
but when we moved in out there in San Diego, we got a thing that said, here's our rules. Merry Christmas, you either live by them or we're gonna find the hell out of you.
And then
that's
when they come to
usually how it
sign-
Works.
When they come to sign for the garbage cans that day,
Well, we-
the things,
You had regular garbage cans, but it had to have the lid on it.
that's what we'll do.
You know what
Yeah.
I
You
mean?
have to sign it, read the rules right then.
that's what I
And
wanna
that's-
see, cause I don't
it's
want
sad you
anybody
have
to
to
come
do
in and
it
say,
that
oh, I
way,
didn't
but-
know.
You're right. Someone's gonna try to push you. So,
Yeah, and you're gonna have an
Thank you.
issue because you don't have
Anyone else?
countywide disposal. so.
I just had a question to Mr. Tibbs.
Well, hold on, Jerry, hold on, buddy.
Jerry Lindsay,
Okay, hold on.
City of Moorhaven.
I understand that. You're addressing the council.
Okay,
not-
I'm addressing,
not-
okay, I'm
Okay.
addressing the council.
Okay,
Okay, what was it, 6-7 months ago, we had a meeting. And at that time, we brought up the fact of raising the on-call amount from $100, because it's $100 for years. These guys have asked every morning, have we addressed that? And they said, well, Mr. Browning said we bring it up in the new budget.
mm-hmm.
Did it get brought up? And is there any progress on it?
Did you factor that in?
No, it didn't get brought up at budget time. As what happened this year, we had all the huge increases in insurance and other, gas, everything else kind of thing. So no, it didn't get into this year's budget. We did get the 5% COLA. Like I said, we did not get we weren't able to address the on-call.
Because we didn't approve it. We didn't approve the on-call, right? Didn't we talk about that? And we said we weren't.
Back in that, but he was right back, several months ago, we said we would try to address it at budget time.
At budget
Yeah,
time,
we did say that.
But like I said, it's doing this budget process, we come in
it
with.
wasn't brought up at budget
It wasn't
time.
brought up at budget time, however, like I said, we came in with a lot greater expenses than we anticipated, so we just.
So we cannot,
It's either, to either get COLAs or come back and, then get, or not that, so it did not get addressed.
One other question. Okay, when I asked about the budget meeting, the preliminary budget meeting, I was told it was on the 7th. We had the workshop on the 5th. By the 7th, you were already voting on the budget. How in the world do you guys go over a whole budget within 2 days and approve it without any discussion from, or input from anybody
There was a tentative budget hearing before the
on the
budget.
5th?
Mhm.
But when I asked about when that hearing was gonna be, I was told the 7th.
I don't know.
Where's the question in there?
Where's the question?
Yeah.
The question is why isn't this stuff posted?
it is,
Why isn't anything on
legally,
the
it has to be
website?
posted.
It's on our calendar on the website. You can go look at the calendar. It's posted in the newspaper.
What newspaper?
And it's on the front
The,
door out
the
here.
Calusa Bell, the Newsbreak, any of the ones that the Okeechobee
Okeechobee News.
takes care of. And it's on the Calusa Bell
Yeah,
website.
we're not
It's
even
on,
allowed to park out front anymore, so don't dare come into the building to read the bulletin board.
What time you quit work?
I get off at 4.
we have a newsletter
City
on the city
Hall.
page that we post things to as well, and you can subscribe to it for your email. There's a newsletter on the city
Yeah, I get
website.
that, but I don't get all the updates. That's the problem. So,
If you go look at the calendar on there, if you scroll to the bottom of the page, there's calendar, and it has all the meetings on it.
okay.
And then if you look in the legal notice section of the paper,
Mhm.
it's the real tiny print stuff in the back. That's typically where the government's published because we're charged certain rates and that's why.
Well, while you're up there, do you think that you should be allowed to park at the front door of the building?
I have no problem with not parking up there, but I'm just
Well, if you
saying.
don't have a problem without parking up there, then you can still come inside anytime you want and read the bulletin board.
Okay.
I mean, right?
That's all I got.
Anybody else got anything? All right, item number 10, mayor and council to give reports. Jake?
I got one thing I'm gonna make it kind of quick here. At the CCPWA meeting the other night, the gentleman from the tire shops stood up and was trying to get sewer over there to his place. At the end of the meeting, Connie and Mr. Tibbs, we spoke about what was called the job growth grant. I say that right, job growth grant. And that's what she wrote over there at the doctor's office, and it talks about how many employees you're gonna have and this and that, and help the funding to put the sewer in. Mr. Stanley stood up and talked about the sewer going on out there. This has to do with CCPWA. I'm just trying to give you all something to think about. You can clearly hear that the county has no intentions of being in the sewer business whatsoever. They're farming it out in Lakeport and they're farming it out in Buckhead Ridge. We've just finished the project started the project and the funding to get the sewer underneath the river. And from there, you heard the discussion to kind of continue it down 27 for when the future of the businesses and all of this comes, which is great. But this guy that was in here the other day, he's got a business that he's trying to open up right there. If you move down the road a little bit, you got Wolf Lawn Machines, then you got the motorcycle shop, you got the church. I would like to see our focus shift. Now that we've completed this funding over here,
To that side.
to where the businesses are at, and I've asked Mr. Geritano and Mr. Miller to get the elevations and things together to maybe put a letter of proposal together of what it's going to cost to do that to get common.
If we're gonna do that, all of that back over
Yeah,
there. I
all
mean,
the way.
wagon
Well,
trail,
what
you know,
There's two options. Of course, the sewer's on that side of the highway. You hear Gene talk about the transmission line. Well, a lot of times when he's transmission line, I'm thinking up in the air with power, but he's talking about the main sewer line right there. It's not really a good practice to cut into your main sewer line. and bore underneath the 27 to tap into that line. So what they're looking at is going from the lift station at Countryside Meadows. This is just a thought here now, but we're talking, and acquiring a little bit more easement property from Carl Perry and going down the back of all of those properties all the way out to Western, and then your sewer would run down the roads this way. So, but I think the businesses are here.
We
They're
need,
right
we
here.
need to,
We
yes.
need to help. And what I mean is, I'm not trying to take anything away from the county, but you can clearly see they don't even know they own the sewer plant.
No.
I think if we're gonna do it, we should go all the way to
So
Western Drive.
thank you.
No,
We're gonna get some numbers together at the next CCPWA meeting. I mean, they'll go along with it probably more than likely, but we need to do that.
we need the volume for the
Yes,
efficiency.
You
Well,
know,
when
we're on
we-
this side of the river.
And we met with the Orlando gentleman, I believe was his name, that was in here, and I basically told him, I mean, he's willing to help. But he wants a directional bore under the road from his tire shop over to the bank property. It's it's
can't
it's just too
do
much
that.
for you. You can't do it. So we did point that he needs to put a septic tank in, and he's probably looking at maybe, at least 3 to 5 years before we can make this happen. But if every business right there writes a letter and talks about this job growth grant, it may happen faster than that.
Mhm.
So we need to support.
When we originally started with the sewer, joined authority, there was a master plan on phases,
Yes, sir.
and I think we're about at. We've already.
You had done some work for Earl Beck was going to build a apartment complex outside of town where the church is now, and you were involved in trying to figure out to put the force main under 27 and where the force main was going to go. Should it go directly to where this apartment complex is going to go and then spread out from there? But as far as permits and everything, you'll have to bore underneath every one of those roads unless you put it in the cane field.
But I think it might be a good time too to maybe bring up at the CCPA that we need another master
Yes.
or part 2 of the master plan, because I think we've pretty much taken care of all the phases that were identified or we're close
we
to
have.
doing that. So,
I think we need, as a council, we need to move
Yeah,
on
we
that.
need
Yes,
to
sir.
move on it with 5 people.
Yes, it's just imagine how many houses down Pony Lane and where Melissa and all of that. And then with that comes better roads, and all those roads are junked down through there. So that's all I have, unless anyone had anything for me.
Okay. Alicia,
I don't have anything.
Mark?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I just, while you were on the subject with the CCA and sewer, how much, still have a few more pieces of property in town that need to be hit
Yes, sir.
with that. And I thought we were gonna get it over here on Railroad Avenue, but they stopped at that one spot, 4th Street.
well, there's funding. It's part of the phasing. That's what I'm saying. I know there's the master plan to do the entire city,
Right.
plus the corridor. I guess
And I understand that
that
too.
side.
And I'm happy I'm hearing the businesses maybe along 27 on the south side, but that's the issue with getting it over to the force main, because everything's on the north side of 27. So, and then Mr. Eichner wants to suggest that we put it down through the backside, so will that still disrupt the businesses,
No,
Wolves or us?
no,
Because I'm right across.
because you can't put it down the side of the highway is what he's saying, because if you go down,
Probably more permitting.
yeah, if you'll think about it, Doug, you know where Marcy Davidson and Archie Branch, all that's Countryside Meadows. There's a strip that runs east-west through there between that
All the
cane
way to
field.
Perry's.
Yeah, that's where they're talking about.
And
Yes.
And we have utilities down there. We have a hydrant down through there. So
Right.
we have some.
Right.
I was just,
But yeah, we need to fill in too, the rest of the,
Yeah, we have,
obviously it's funding based, but
we ran out of funding on, particularly on railroad. There was a couple of RE engineers that that we ran out of funding and we're trying to, that is a small package we're trying to find. And then there's also a few spots we missed that are not engineered that we're trying to get those identified and get funded also. So Connie and I are working on
Okay.
those spots that
Okay, good.
kind of missed.
River Garden.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. River Gardens, yes, sir.
2 or 3 houses on 10th Street and some of that back. Okay, Alicia, Jake, you done, right?
I'm on.
Alicia, Mark, Ms. Gunn, Ms. Taylor.
Mr. Gunn, Ms. Taylor.
And I wasn't so bad, I stood right there when it happened, so.
I got a phone call today about Toys for Tots. Do we know when you'll be able to give them their,
Whenever y'all tell me, and I need some kind of letter or something from them, just
okay.
like a
Yeah, we put it in the budget, yeah.
like a sponsorship paperwork, something,
Okay.
just so we have something for
All
the
right, I'll let
auditors.
them know that.
So I guess while we're on you, and I forgot to bring this up on reports, I saw your
Mhm.
resignation effective October 31st.
So the next meeting, we got to vote on somebody.
Well,
According to the municipal code, we got to vote somebody in.
because your term would have how many more months would your term have
I'm up for election next.
next? So it would be under 28 months. So obviously, are we going to put out some sort of application process for?
The municipal code said that we vote, and if we can't come up with a,
Yeah, but don't you want to have people? I mean, you're just going to elect somebody arbitrarily, or you want
We
like
need
people?
to see what the code, he needs to print the.
yeah, I read the municipal code. It says we vote, we nominate,
Right.
and if we can't come up with a agreement in 30 days, the governor appoints someone.
But the vacancy is not going to occur until October 31st.
Right. So it'll be after that. But my point is that do you want to put a notice out that there's going to be this opening with the timeline for people to apply, so you have a
That's the
pool?
way it reads.
That, I'm not saying that's how it reads. I'm saying, do you want to solicit
Needs.
names, or you're just going to say, Miss X, we nominate you? I mean,
I don't know if
how do
they
you
said
do that? We need to
solicit
come-
names. I don't know.
But
if they
it
said-
doesn't say you have to, it's just saying, he's just saying that's an alternative. All it says is that you appoint someone, so I mean, you can come into a meeting and each of you have a name in mind and go that way.
Right.
But a lot of places, like you said, will go ahead and put an advertisement out just to say that.
There's an
There's a
opening.
vacancy, so if we can't think of anybody,
Right.
Fred may walk in and put a name.
You may have 4 or 5 people who say, hey, I'm interested, and, I want you to,
But it's-
Does the board have to be unanimous or does it have to be
no, majority.
just majority?
I know who I want to nominate.
Something to think about.
Mhm. When do you
And
make the
when would be your
nomination?
when would be your last
When do
meeting?
you make the
The
nomination?
next meeting is my last meeting.
Well, you'd have to do it at your first meeting in November.
Okay.
because
So that's why I'm saying at this point, we're October the 3rd. So if you were going to utilize a public notice that, hey, there's an
So
opening,
I don't get to help nominate for,
I think it's written to the point where I'm bringing up is how do you want to go about doing
no,
it?
I'm saying, I know, but I'm saying, I don't
I
get,
don't think it per se, you can nominate somebody, Mark can nominate, everybody can nominate.
but
somebody.
Does she get a
next
vote?
meeting is my last meeting is what I'm saying. So if you're not bringing it up till November, I won't be here is what I'm saying.
Right. We may have to do a special meeting before the end of October.
Mhm.
But I'd rather address it now. Let's get our, what our procedures, what we're gonna do in the next couple of weeks this way. And we come up with the game plan at the next meeting in October and probably try to do a special meeting in October before your resignation.
Where's the, do we have a copy of the municipal code with us?
It's in the charter. Ashley has it here, but I can make a copy of my,
I mean, I
Don't you have it?
think we've all got a book, but
I think it's in the files
It's in
in
the
there.
first
I've
part
never,
of the book.
Ashley,
go
tomorrow, what it
look in
says
there.
in the charter, email that separately to every one of us.
okay,
And email it to Mr. Ramoni also.
Yeah, I have it. I read it.
I mean, it
just
should
says-
be in your book. You should already have it in your big Thick book.
how you nominate or how you appoint
It's not
It's not-
laid out.
is vague.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing up, how do you want to go about the process? And then you
And I
decide.
think that's our question is when does the process start? Does it start tonight or does it start on the first when her notice is active?
We would want to,
Resign officially.
we would want to do it, sooner
It's
than
30
later,
days
because you
from
want to
today.
wait too long.
But
So if you're gonna
the
do it,
Problem is the vacancy, if the vacancy occurred on October 31st, you can't take action to fill before that date.
right,
No,
You really
we could
understand that, right?
nominate,
Yeah.
we could nominate
Okay.
somebody.
Because that's not what you're saying.
Yeah.
At least that's not what I'm understanding you're saying. But
We nominate somebody, they just don't take effect until
She's off.
right.
November 1st.
You wouldn't
Right.
want to do it before the end of the
Right.
month.
So then
for
they
November.
take office November 1st.
I don't think that's the way it reads.
you're reading it wrong.
But I think-
So how, now, one more time, Larry.
I think it says that the vacancy is going to occur on October 31st.
Exactly.
So that's when the seat becomes vacant. So the next meeting is in November.
Yeah, but
That's
I don't
correct.
think that's the way it reads, but I think it reads that you make nominations, and if you don't, it doesn't specifically say,
It does say that if you can't agree upon it, if
In the
you
next,
have to,
go.
within 30 days, if you can't agree upon someone, then it goes to the governor.
But is it 30 days from tonight?
No, it's
No,
from
from the
her
date.
letter, from
Will that be
31st,
tonight?
the 31st.
my letter's
No, the
effective the
31st.
31st.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay, all right.
Right,
So,
that's
all
what
right.
you're saying, right? Same, I'm on the same page.
But if you're saying you want to try to be part of the process, it would have to be before the end of the month.
Before-
Otherwise, it would be the remaining 4 that would be doing it.
Well,
That's all I'm saying.
wait a minute now, wait, if it's, tonight is the 18th, right? What's the date?
Third.
Oh, yeah, so the 31st would, yeah,
I think it's 30 days after we
no,
decide how we're making a decision, if we can't make a decision. So like if we called for the meeting on the nomination on the next meeting, 30 days from then, if we don't make a decision, is the way I was reading it.
I look at it from when the seat becomes open,
Mhm.
which would be effective the 31st.
Mhm.
You could pre-vote, so to speak,
Mhm.
but it doesn't kick in until November 1st or the first meeting in November. But I'll go back and take, I'm just saying, what process do you want to use? Because it should be everybody on the same page as to your process that you use for people to say, hey, I'm interested, I want to apply.
She has given us the advantage of giving us proper notice 30 days instead of, somebody just giving their report and then walking up here and saying, hey, I'm done. I mean,
Yeah.
she's given us that advantage to try and find somebody, to get somebody in mind. I mean,
Mhm.
we, as a council, we definitely appreciate that. And if we can move forward faster, then absolutely. But the way it reads to me, and the way I decipher it is as on the 31st, when according to what the letter says, that's the last day that she can make a decision for this board.
Correct.
exactly, I agree with that.
Mhm.
It's the date the vacancy occurs.
Right.
So we can do the nomination before that date,
Mhm.
and then we all have a say-so in it.
I can't remember.
Or you'll have to set a,
I'm reading through it right now, the statute.
No.
You wanna do research on it, and then we'll.
Yeah,
discuss
because
it on the
I
next
was
meeting?
looking at our charter. I'm going by our charter.
That's what I was looking at too.
Yeah.
So motion to adjourn.
second.
All in favor?
Are you gonna resign and take over your meeting too? Motion by Jan, second by Mark, any discussion?
Second by Jake.
Yes, second by Jake. I got it.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're in adjournment.
Done now?
No.